Today we need to get into BTS members coming out of a black van from the label building, and then we also need to get into apparently Jin being kissed at his fan meet and what that is about. And then we have some shocking pics that have been posted of the family. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave. Decide hate it or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Make sure you join us fangirling on Patreon with some free content on Saturdays now, and let's go. So I think everyone in the community woke up this morning feeling a bit attacked in a good way, because I think the community was very shocked to see what happened just within the last day or so. If you've been unaware of what's going on, Jin recently had a fan meet in which he wanted to hug everyone, and it was a very exclusive event where he only invited about 1,000 people, or maybe even less than that, and it was like a raffle situation. He did a bunch of things like eat live on the show. I think he also did a song, and then of course he did the hug. That was the most famous thing that was guaranteed that he would do. During one of the performances, he was obviously fully clothed, but people were able to see what they believe was his abs through the shirt. Now I'm looking at the picture and I don't exactly see the specific abs that they're talking about. And this isn't to say that he doesn't have abs, this is just to say that you can't really see it, at least in my opinion, that clearly. Obviously if you were to take his shirt off, you'd probably see it. It would be very there. It would be very defined, I'm sure, but just didn't really see it through the shirt that everyone is talking about. It was a white shirt, it seemed like it was a tank top. Obviously, it was probably more clean to his body, and so people were saying that they saw shadows of what appeared to be his abs. People were having a meltdown about this. They were absolutely freaking out, and they were so excited to see this. And I think in Jin's album and his music video that he is going to make, he's obviously probably going to take his shirt off, and we'll obviously see what his abs look like. But I think in this situation, I don't really see them. All of the members, I feel like, have something called a sleeper build, which just means that if you're wearing clothes and if they're not really showing themselves shirtless, you're not really going to see it. And that's probably the best way to be buff in a way that's not obvious. I've been around people who are so buff that it's almost uncomfortable, and a lot of people who are super buff aren't even doing it at that point to look good. They're just doing it because they want to be more of a bodybuilder type of thing. Now, I respect that. That's great if that's what you want to do. Personally, from a look standpoint, I don't think it looks very good because I think it looks way too much. Of course, we haven't seen him in a really long time, and to see a photo of him with abs, or what people think is abs, is absolutely perfect, and the internet was going to go crazy over that anyway. I don't know who took the photo, if it was a fan who did that or if it was a staff member, but the photo of course did end up going viral online as people were sharing it and freaking out over the alleged abs. People have been posting multiple things since Jin has left the military and is now doing his own thing. One of the videos that have recently gone viral was a video of a black van coming out of their label. The black van was more than just Jin. BTS members are all in there as well. And you can see a huge crowd waving and just saying hi to the van. Now, there's not a lot of context to this video, and whether or not it's actually them coming out of the label or whether it's them coming out of whatever it is, that's up for debate. Now, if this was them coming out of their label building, I definitely have a lot of questions as to how and why. It's definitely not odd or strange for members to come out of their label building, but it's definitely strange for people to know exactly when they're there and then form a huge crowd and then wait for their van to come out and wave. There's just always so many opportunities to meet the boys. If you were to just go to Korea and then camp outside the label building, I find that to be one of the stranger ways to meet one of the BTS members. Of course, there are so many ways to meet the boys. They have so many opportunities for fan meets. They have so many opportunities just like this one with Jin, where you can meet him and you can hug him and do all of these wonderful things. And chances are, I know that Jin said that he doesn't want this to be a thing where just because he does it, all the other members are going to feel pressure to do it too, like the fan meet. But I think all of the members are going to want to do it. And the thing is, with this industry, it's not like just because you say you don't want this to happen, that thing isn't going to happen. People are still going to say, well, he did it, so the other members should do it, even if Jin specified he didn't want that to happen. So either way, they will feel at least slightly pressured to do it and to have a fan meet and hug everyone and all that stuff. For everyone just to wait outside and wave to a van, I think that's so odd. And I think it's even more odd that there really wasn't anyone who was saying that this was odd. There were just kind of people saying that this was nice and whatever. But imagine every time the boys were to go inside their label, whether that's for a meeting or whatever it is, there's just always this huge crowd outside. It's not really conducive of a good work environment. It's not really great in terms of safety or fire hazard situation, as how is the staff going to leave should there be a fire or anything like that if there's this huge crowd of people in the front? And if there is this huge crowd of people in the front, how is the staff going to tell everyone that they need to leave? So it's also dangerous for that crowd of people there too. The boys are famous for being entertainers. They are known to do other things, like other entrepreneurial things, but that's not what they're famous for. So if you were to meet them and you were to enjoy them, then you probably should wait when it is an entertainment kind of event. People are multifaceted, so the business side of them may not be as appealing to you as opposed to their entertaining side. So go meet them when you know that there's going to be this specific side that you're used to seeing them as. That is interesting to me because a lot of people always say, well, so-and-so celebrity that was rude, well, maybe they were just on their way to do something and their mind was more so on that thing than it was to try to entertain you or try to be overly nice to you. Of course, there are people who are just mean. Their mind isn't always on being on. Sometimes they're just kind of thinking about, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna close this deal? Or how am I gonna pitch my album to investors? All that sort of stuff. The business side of the industry is actually much bigger than anything else. So the actual part that you might consider fun, i.e. going to events or even performing on stage, there's a lot of build up and a lot of paperwork and a lot of things that you have to do that may not be as fun that you have to do before even doing the event or going on stage. And that's the stuff that no one really talks about. And that's the stuff that requires a lot of brain power. It's not fun, it's not easy. Now we have to get these specific fan meets and what people are saying about that because there's a lot of controversy revolving around just that. So during the event, when Jin had the opportunity to hug everyone, this was the part that a lot of people were scared about. Because as far as I know, I don't know much, but what I believe is that there could not have possibly been an intense screening of everyone. There's potentially a couple of 100 to 1,000 people that are showing up. I find it really hard to believe that the label would have the ability to give a background check to every single person that they are bringing to the event. And even if they did, it probably couldn't have been that extensive. Knowing how the fandom is and how the community is, sometimes that is actually necessary, but it's not really possible to do. So a lot of people were scared that there would be people that would jump or hit or specifically enter the raffle just to damage Jin, and that is definitely not unheard of. That can 100% happen. Fortunately, I think the event is over and he is totally okay and nothing like that happened. Given how crazy airport appearances are and all those types of appearances are, people were definitely thinking that an event in which I believe is free and there's that many people showing up would probably cause problems. Now, there was apparently an issue as someone did come up to Jin during the fan meet, the hug part, and actually kissed Jin on the neck. This is not okay, as obviously even in the photo, he seems uncomfortable with it. And of course, just probably didn't want that. People probably don't want to be kissed and definitely not kissed by a stranger. Of course, I don't believe he pushed the person or acted in any sort of rude way. However, I think it is absolutely crazy that someone would even attempt to do this, knowing that he doesn't know them and also knowing that viruses and COVID and all that stuff is like still a thing. Like in my opinion, he, or at least everyone else, should be attempting to wear a mask when they go up to him because what if he gets sick after this? He might get sick after this, after meeting so many people. So kisses are definitely something that I would ask people to refrain from if I was a staff member running the event. So I don't even know if she was dragged out or whatever it was. So people were definitely wondering if he had to be rushed out after that or what the situation was. However, I think he ended up staying and finishing the event, but if the event had escalated to anything really bad, I'm sure he would definitely had to have left. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks, just lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.